but obviously this is an ideal spot, I would think, for Phil Rivers. Obviously, the offensive line is very good. That should open up great play action opportunities for Phil, who's obviously a great play action. I know you don't have to run the ball to do play action effectively. We learned that 10 years ago, but in theory, it does seem to mesh really well. Protect the man, feed the ball to these running backs. We'll get to that, Taylor and Mack.
Right.
And then, you got that, these receivers seem to slide in really nicely. Pittman is your ex-ISO guy all alone on an island out there. Hilton and Paris Campbell is like a joker type of guy on the other side of the field. It does seem like a beautiful landing spot overall for Phil, who, of course, played with Reich for 3 years with the Chargers.
Well, we probably shouldn't even be talking about the Colts because they actually believe that they're going to run the ball, and I keep being told that doesn't matter. So I don't even know why we're talking about the Colts. So they drafted a running back in the second round, so they should obviously just be removed from any thought process whatsoever because
they're blockers.
They don't know what they're doing.
They're just blockers, Greg. Jonathan Williams is a big guy. He can pass throw very well.
Greg, they're going to have something in the dirt,
They obviously don't know what they're doing. They drafted a running back in the second round. They're going to run the ball behind a really good offensive line. They just don't know what football's about. But
I sense a touch of sarcasm here, Greg.
I'm on social media. That's what I keep reading by everybody. That doesn't matter. But so getting to the players, I think it's perfect for Philip Rivers, who at this point in his career is a complementary piece. I think the run game is critical to him. I think play action is critical to him. I thought Jonathan Taylor was the best runner in the draft. And I loved him on tape. I've said before that I thought he was not much different than Ezekiel Elliott coming out of Ohio State as a runner. We know about their O-line. I thought the Pittman pick, and it comes down to how one evaluates players. And obviously, I evaluated Pittman very highly. I loved Michael Pittman on tape, and I think he's an ascending player. And I think that was a great pick for them. So I think they have a lot of pieces in place. I personally think that if their offense plays the way they want it to play, I think Jonathan Taylor will have 250 carries because Mack is one of those explosive perimeter guys. And I think that Frank Reich clearly he's an expansive thinker. He's a good combination of being basic and expansive based on his background. And it would not surprise me to see Mack and Taylor on the field at the same time.
Well, that's one thing that they want, even though they actually were pretty good with explosive plays last year. That's what they want, explosive plays. Right. So let me ask you this about Marlon Mack, because he's a guy who takes on a lot of contact. He tends to wear down. Might Marlon Mack be more of effective in a limited role and maybe as a pass catcher?
I saw him that way coming out. I thought when he came out of college, he had a ton of explosive plays. I didn't view him as a running back one. I know he essentially filled that role last year, but he also got hurt a bit. I think when all's said and done, he's not that guy. He's not the 250, 270 carry a year guy. I think Jonathan Taylor is, but I think Mack has explosive traits. You can get him on the perimeter, and I think there'll be personnel packages with Taylor and Mack, and I think they'll play to Mack's strengths.
I'm a little worried, and Adam, I think you could probably chime in on this on T.Y. Hilton. We've always loved T.Y. Hell, Greg, you told us about him 10 years ago when he was coming out.
When he came out, I loved him.
Yeah, he was not a name that, was on the tip of everyone's tongue, but you were all in on T.Y. That was a great call, a great evaluation. He's been terrific. Do you see any signs of slowdown? I know Adam,
let Adam answer this because I've been talking too much.
I think, Adam, the Colts, it seems like there's some concern about T.Y. in terms of breaking down in terms, he's not a big man.
No, he's broke a couple seasons. He's hit that magic number, 30 years old. He's on the final year of his deal. I'll tell you what, you're talking to the Colts, they say he's tough as nails. He'll play hurt. You remember he had 2 years ago, he had a variety of ankle injuries. He had a high ankle and a low ankle at the same time. But they have to get younger at the position, and they did with Pittman. And what's interesting about Paris Campbell, they were going to play him outside and inside last season had he not suffered 4 different injuries. So he's a guy who's going to factor heavily in for their future.
Fascinating guy.